there is a menace that has refused to go out, even with all the so much work put out there by NGOs to ensure that female genital mutilation is brought to an end. Now, it's shocking because we got some revelation, of statistics that in Cross River State, where we have 18 local government areas, 16 sadly are still practicing that act, the female genital mutilation. And most of them are students, most of them are pupils in schools. That is why we needed to take this advocacy to one of the school owners in Cross River State. I have joining me on this very special interview the director of ACES International School, otherwise known as Excellent Standard International School, Prince Raphael Effiong. Prince, so good to have you join us.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Prince, let's get to look at this issue of female genital mutilation. I am sure maybe one or two of your students must have gone through this act, But in your opinion as a school owner, how do you look at female genital mutilation?
Okay, female genital mutilation, FGM, it's the removal of the female, part of the female genitalia for cultural practices, and people do it thinking that it has a benefit. And some people do it for cultural reasons, because my father did it or we do it in our area. Surprisingly, I spoke with a good friend of mine in the northern part of Cross River State, and I was shocked to hear that in this generation, at this time, I mean, a child was born about 2 years ago, he was proud to say he circumcised his daughter. I was shocked. I said, this is not supposed to happen. This is Cross River State, northern part of Cross River State. So it's shocking that people are still carrying out the mutilation of sensitive parts of the genitalia of a female child, and it's largely due to ignorance and belief that it has cultural benefit. Well, it has no benefit, no particular medical benefit. In fact, it rather has disadvantages to the female child in the future as a person and sexually when the child grows up. So there's a lot of disadvantage and little or no advantage for carrying out FGM.
Okay, so one of the reasons the practitioners of FGM put out there is to help this girl child in future stop promiscuity. So let's look at this. How true is that reason, and does it really hold water?
I will disagree with that reason, because promiscuity is a thing of the mind. A child will be promiscuous not because of one part of the body that is, considered or cut off or considered a problem. Basically, people become promiscuous by influence, peer pressure, the things they watch, the things they hear, the things they say, the people they get involved in. So whether a child has been circumcised, a female child is circumcised or not, those who be promiscuous will still be promiscuous. After all, among those who are promiscuous, there are people who have been circumcised and yet they are promiscuous. But the thing is, to a large extent, studies have shown that children who are circumcised lose a greater part of the sexual sensitivity or pleasure that nature has given to them. I mean, this is what God has made for every one of us. It's like cutting off the genitalia of a man. How do you expect him to enjoy copulation? He's not going to enjoy it as much as somebody who has his reproductive organ intact. So when you cut off the clitoris of a female child, or it is reduced, you have completely made that child unable to enjoy what nature, what God created to come with the reproductive organ of a female. That is pleasure in your marriage. When that child grows up and gets married, the child is supposed to enjoy her marriage, because one of the three most important reasons why God instituted marriage is copulation. So if the child is going to, as an adult, get involved in copulation and does not enjoy it, of what benefit is it? You just lie down there like a log of wood, and then the man will start looking outside because he cannot understand that interaction. So completely I disagree that it makes them promiscuous. Rather, it inhibits their enjoying their marriage.
Okay, so you just pointed one of those disadvantages of female genital mutilation. I'd love you to open more on those disadvantages the girl child would suffer, when she has been caught.
Now, chief amongst the disadvantages of FGM, female genital mutilation, is the social shame. When the child gets in the midst of his or her friends and gets to know that other female children, maybe sporting activities, or it could be swimming, where ladies, most of the time, just between them, ladies, get to know that every other person has complete body part and my own is incomplete. The child becomes ashamed. Even in marriage, the ladies are ashamed to open up to their husband because he still feels a part of me has been cut off. It's like a human being without a right hand, and most of us use right hand. You will never feel complete like those who have two hands. So there is a social shame. Now, there is also the limitation to sexual pleasure in marriage. Some say they don't have any feeling at all. Some say they have little feeling. It varies. So this is not okay. Then we also have problems during conception and delivery. Those who have experienced this FGM, they've cut off their clitoris, tend to have some form of complications during childbirth and delivery. But those who have their things intact as nature made it don't seem to have much of a problem. Then there's the issue of infection, because sometimes the tool used, the implement used to carry out this medical procedure, because it's a medical procedure, they are cutting off somebody's part, the healing process, etc., could have future complications for the female child, presently or later on. The implement may be infected. The area where this circumcision has taken place, the cutting off. In fact, circumcision is a very nice word for it. It's not circumcision, you are cutting off somebody's body part. It could take time to heal. Infections could come in there. It's an injury, that's a wound area. If they don't know how to treat it well, it will open up later on, infections and all of that. So, my dear, it is not okay, please. Let's just stop it, please. God created people complete. Let's allow them to live their lives complete.
Okay, let's quickly look at the school. And I'm sure some of your pupils, not even yours, a whole lot of pupils and students, in nursery, primary and secondary schools have had that experience. So what have you been doing as a school owner to ensure that you preach against this act? Because by the time your students, by the time your pupils get to hear, they can pass the message, take the message to their homes, take the message to their churches. So let's look at, do you also have this kind of forum where you talk to them?
Okay, you will agree with me that it is actually the parents that need more of the education, but the young ones who are getting that education are getting it for tomorrow's sake.
Okay.
So what we do in schools is to engage in debates.
Okay.
There are students who have told us that they are been circumcised.
Okay.
Because even in their textbook, the English textbooks, you find comprehension passages that discourages and condemns this female genital mutilation.
Okay.
So right from secondary, the students, SS1 textbook, there's a passage, SS2, SS3, the students are gradually being informed and educated on the demerits of female genital mutilation. They engage in debate. Of recent, the SS3 students of this school wrote a debate for and against. We divided them in no particular order into two groups, male and female, to speak for, and some people to speak against. Those who were for could not find many reasons to justify female genital mutilation. They were just beating about the bush, just said one or two. But those who were against it were able to talk about it exhaustively. They had points upon points upon points, and at the end we all agreed in the class that it is an unhealthy practice, that none of them will allow it to happen to their own children when they grow up, get married and start having children. And for those who unfortunately their parents may have carried it out on them, there is little we can do than to teach them that, okay, it has already happened, but you can live your life happily, and as you grow up, you can mingle, don't allow it to be a problem, and all of that. So it's all about advocacy and education.
Okay, that means there is so much advocacy in your school.
Yes, there is.
Against FGM.
There is. It's a compulsory debate we do every year in the senior secondary class.
Okay, now let me just take one more before we do a wrap on this. You are also the Publicity Secretary of NAPS, that's a National Association of Private School Proprietors, right?
That's right.
Okay. Now, your school is doing quite a lot, you know, to campaign against FGM.
Yes, sir.
What is the larger body now? The private school owners, what are they also doing? Can you push this message across to ensure that the girl child in all the schools, you know, get enlightened, and if anyone, you know, is being approached for such acts, the child will resist? So let's look at how can we use NAPS as a platform to kick against this practice?
Okay, what we do as proprietors, that every year when the girl child is celebrated, there is a day for celebrating the girl child. We carry out awareness seminars. Mostly it's done individually. Rarely have we done it collectively. But from the national president to the state president, messages are written, and you know, to schools, for every school owner. These messages are passed across our platforms. It's my privilege and duty to pass on these messages, to tell them about, let's celebrate the female child. It's not just about FGM, every other thing, sexual abuse, rape, we talk about it. We encourage our students individually now to talk about it. Debate, discuss, act dramas, and even some of our programs, end of year parties, these things are acted out, and it's awareness. So what we do is basically advocacy. But again, I think what we're doing is we're building for the future, tomorrow's generation. The real thing the NGOs and civil society should continue doing will be the parents out there, and they would parents soon to be couples. And I think the churches, because almost everybody, especially this part of the world, before they get married, almost everybody usually goes to a church. So the churches are one of the best places to educate would-be couples, so that as you're getting married and you're having children, don't engage in FGM. Then traditional institutions, age grade, are other centers. But for us as schools, every year the girl child is celebrated, along with the team and alongside the textbooks which we are teaching them. We continue to do advocacy on everything that befits the female child.
So, Director, let me get your word to parents, to caregivers, and also to students. Let's get your final word to them.
My final word will be please, please, and please again, stop destroying the future of our female children. Female genital mutilation is not okay, it's not accepted, it is no longer fashionable, it's an obnoxious policy. It is something your child should sue you before God and the society if you carry that. And until stringent measures are taken on parents who have carried out these obnoxious practices on their children, some others will not learn. Don't be an example for negativity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Prince Raphael Effiong, Director, SC's International School, otherwise known as Excellent Standard International School. Thank you.
Thank you so
much. It's been a pleasure talking with you. We hope to come back and have more on the girl child and girl child education. Thank you very much.
You're always welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay, so you've heard it there, parents. A word that says enough for the wise. Ensure you protect the future of your child. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere.